Hey everybody, welcome back to PlayStation 4 Homebrew News episode number 2. So today I've got a bunch of cool things to share with you. Let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. So the very first one is that there is this blog post. It's by a person named Illusion. And inside of this blog, what you'll find is that they create all kinds of different patches. So patches for things such as Gravity Rush 2. And if you scroll down into this, you'll see some frame rate unlock patches for things like Ratchet and Clank. What I found is that they make some really awesome patches that really allows you to do things such as go to 60 FPS. Now, they don't post as often as you would like for them to, but I believe if you scroll down into this, here's another dynamic FPS patch for Midnight Club. They're picking usually all of the top and some of the best games. So there we go for Medieval, and here we go for Alien Isolation, and much, much more. There's Crysis Remastered. So definitely worth a look if you want to increase the frames per second as well as other features for your PlayStation 4 games. Number 2, I thought was very interesting because it's actually a written tutorial on how you can jailbreak your PS4. Now, obviously, I love video. I think most of you love video as well. But if you would like a written guide, you can use this one right here. This is apparently pretty popular on places like reddit.com. And I took a quick peek into this, and it was very detailed. So setting up the PS4 to bringing in what type of firmware in case you need to upgrade to 9.00, and creating the PS4 exploit USB, jailbreaking it. They also provide some really handy links. So here is a link to the actual image file. And down in here, this is obviously one of the hosts that we all know and love, Caro218. Anyway, there's some very solid advice in there. And apparently, this website PC guide is going to be doing much, much, much more. Next up is this GitHub project that allows you to send payloads to your PlayStation 4 using your iOS device. Now, there is an absolute ton of these for Android and especially for rooted Android devices. This one is obviously for PS4, and what I did was I went ahead and I installed this on my own iOS device, and it works just perfectly. Here's a screenshot that I took from my phone this morning, and all you got to do is simply put in your IP address as well as the port number, and you can send a payload directly over with your phone. Now, there is some practical uses for this, and then there's some also not so practical uses. Obviously, I prefer, to use things such as Payload Loader, which is an application, a homebrew application that's already on the PlayStation 4 that you can use. If you want to do this through your iPhone, well, now you can. The one advice that I would give you is that you do need to have some sort of way to install IPA files. So if you go back over here to releases, you'll see there is an IPA file. Basically, this stands for iPhone application, and you need to put this onto your phone. Now, there's an absolute ton of ways to put IPAs onto your phone. One of them being Xcode, downloading Xcode, and then signing up for a free developer account. It will only allow you to put up to 3 apps onto your phone, and then the apps expire after 7 days, so you have to refresh and renew. There is another way that I'm going to recommend that's a little bit easier, and this way you'll also not have to refresh the app every 7 days in order for it to continue to run on your iPhone. It's simply this thing called AltStore. So it says, welcome to AltStore, a home for apps that push the boundaries, no jailbreak required. Basically, you install this alt server onto your phone. Once you install it onto your phone, there is the AltStore that you use on your phone. You run it, and then you leave this running, and with AltStore, you can push your IPA to it. This is a little bit easier. It seems like this is going to be kind of the new way that people are going to start putting IPAs back onto their phone. So check that out. Okay, so next up is an update to the Sega Saturn fake package generator that we covered in a previous episode. Now, in this update, there's a couple of notable things to call out. The very first one is that the UI has been redesigned. Another very interesting thing here is that there is now this widescreen option. So if you watched me play Sega Rally Championship previously, now we can actually play that same game in 16.9. Let's take a look really quick at the differences. Okay, and so here is the Saturn Fake Package 1.0, and here is the new one, which is 1.1. Obviously, the UI is so much better. And so let's just try this out real quick. We're going to select our Sega Rally Championship.q, which we used before. And we can see there is a package icon, a splash screen, and now there's actually a title that auto-generates in here. And next we'll go into the game config, and we're going to turn on widescreen stretched. Borders, we're going to leave this just like it is, and there is the about screen, and we can now create our fake package. And I'm just going to select the same folder that we were in and then press OK, and it is now building that package. Okay, let's go ahead and try it. Let's go ahead and let's remove the previous version. So we're going to delete this, and that one should be gone. Let's go back up to settings, and we're going to go to Goldhen and then package installer. And this is the one that we just created. And let's go ahead and let's install it. Okay, it looks like it's finished installing and it is ready to use. There is our game. We've got our button configuration just like last time. Okay, all right. So it is working. It is in a wide screen compared to what we were looking at before. Go ahead and hit start here. And there we go. Much, much, much better. I am very impressed with what type of work has already been done on this Sega Saturn emulator just since the last 1.0 release. So again, and enjoy all of your Sega Saturn library. Woohoo! And I went ahead and I put a direct link in here in case you want to just go straight and download the update. Next up is this PKG Ripper application. And what this does is this allows you to remove the contents from your own backups of PS4 package files, and you can save hard disk drive space. So in this example, this was F1 Formula One Race in 2020, and it dropped more than 20 gigabytes in space after running this application. So if you remember back in the old days, especially if you had a PlayStation Portable, we did this quite a bit where unused files or files that may be like big gigantic movies, we basically just put them as a 0 kilobyte file. With this application, you can do the same. Now this is very, very, very early on into the implementation, so it's definitely worth a watch to see what happens next with it. And the author did provide a couple of packages already for you. And if we scroll down into this folder right here, you can see there's a couple of games. I know this is the Formula One racing game, and then there is a couple of more here. Maybe that's the Transformers game. I don't know. Definitely worth checking out. Next up is this guide that's all about things to do with the PlayStation 4 jailbreak on firmware 9.0. A special thank you to Hackinformer for including my videos in this. So if you scroll down through this article, you'll see things such as Linux. And if you want to install Linux, here's how you can do that. We scroll down into this, custom themes. Again, we've covered all of these on the channel so far. PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games on the PS4. Yes, something you can do. There's 595 games that's already compatible. Then backing up your PS4 games. We've also covered that. Down into RetroArch, playing some of the old school systems like Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo. Sega Saturn games on your PS4. We just talked about it. And then Hamachi, which is basically a client that will allow you to play LAN multiplayer games over the internet. Definitely something worth checking out. And then we have PS4 DLC Unlocker Maker. And basically, what this application does is that there are some game disks that you already have that contains unlockable DLC that's already on there. And so, what it does is it just makes that DLC unlocked in order for you to access it without downloading or installing anything else. Very cool package. Definitely worth checking out. And we'll wrap up with my absolutely favorite game of the month in December 2021, and that is easily going to be Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2. Now, I believe this game is a couple of years old, but I just personally discovered it. And if you haven't played it, this is definitely a game to play on your PS4 9.00 jailbreak machine. Let's go ahead and give this a super quick spin here. Okay, and so here we are. Basically, you are this guy, and you are just going to go around terrorizing everyone. You start with a chainsaw. You can get things like a shotgun and much, much more. I'll just be quiet now, and we'll just start playing it. Okay, chainsaw this person, chainsaw this other one. And let's go ahead and go up here. Let's chainsaw through that room, this room, and give this one a good little bit. The game is just so fun. It's one of those weird games that since I've started playing it, it's extremely hard to put down. And I will even say, as I started filming this video for today, I started thinking, okay, well, if I start playing it, I'm going to want to play it a lot more, and then I'll have to cut out a lot of the video. Let me see if I can get a gun. Okay, there's the baseball bat. I think I ran out of ammo for the other one. Let's see if I can get through this. All right, I just lost a little bit of health, but that's okay. And let's go into this next door. All right, so here's, I think, where we get the guns. So let's try to get the gun from this guy. Okay, so I've got the gun now. And now this little laser pointer is so cool because you know exactly where you're shooting at. And I'm going to make this explosion. And then, boom, it's just craziness. Anyway, check out that game. It's one of my absolute favorites, at least for this month of December. I recommend a playthrough. It's a little over 2 hours long. Check it out. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Michael, out!